Hi, OJ. If you are listening, then maybe, just maybe, it's time the lies came to light. They called me a man of God, but deep down, I knew I was playing a role. People wouldn't make a single decision or move without asking me first. I had become their final authority, maybe their God. And I let it happen. I fed that image. I performed the prophecies. I staged the miracles. They thought they were hearing from heaven. Truth is, they were only hearing me. This is my confession. And OJ, a truth I have buried for too long. Let me tell you what I became. At first, it was harmless. At least, that was what I told myself. I said I would only step into that role temporarily, just until the church found its footing. A few fake prophecies here and there, a little staged miracles here and there. Nothing too deep, nothing too dangerous. But that was the first lie, and it was to myself. You see, somewhere along the line, people stopped making decisions without asking me first. Should they marry this person? Should they travel? Should they quit their jobs? It was no longer what is God saying. It became what is He saying. That is me. And I had become their God. And the more control I had, the more addicted I became to the power. People came from far and near, not for God, but for me. They wanted their names revealed, secrets spoken, futures foretold. I gave them everything they asked for, and they believed it was divine. But I knew those words weren't from heaven. They were scripted, prepared by my team in the shadows, rehearsed like lines in a staged play. But the more I lied, OJ, the more they gave. The money was something else, OJ. Unbelievable. People gave cars, lands, life savings, all in the name of faith. The richer I became, the louder I shouted. It's the hand of God. But deep down, I knew it was nothing but a con built on broken trust and fragile hope. And then came the seed sowing, a masterpiece in manipulation. I told them, if you want a miracle, plant a seed. The bigger the seed, the bigger the breakthrough. They gave out of desperation and not faith. They gave because I made them believe that lack was a curse and giving was their only redemption. During service, I created high emotional moments, staged miracles, fake tongues, and then boom. If God has touched you, honor Him with a seed. And OJ, they ran to the altar like sheep to the slaughter, waving envelopes, dropping checks, laying deeds of lands at the feet as if I were divine. But I was no God, just a man with a script and a lust for more. Tithing, don't even get me started. We turn it into a rule of fear. If you don't tithe, you are robbing God. People gave before buying food, before paying rent, not out of love, but out of fear. And yet, even the Bible didn't command what we preached. Tithing was seasonal, not monthly. But I made it mandatory, a spiritual tax with eternal threats. It's at this point that I would ask that you subscribe to the channel, share a comment, and like the story, because that is the only way you encourage me to bring you more stories and confessions. Please subscribe. Let's go. And then we introduced the partnership program, premium access to my so-called prophetic anointing. Pay monthly, and I'll give you private prayers, personal prophecies, and exclusive invitations. The higher you paid, the closer you got to me. For many, That meant access to God Himself. OJ, it was a business, pure and simple. We used God's name as a brand and sold miracles like merchandise. We sold anointing oils, miracle water, handkerchiefs, salt, all claimed to have supernatural powers. They were just products from the market, but we slapped a prophecy on them and they sold out like hotcakes. People would even send them overseas to relatives, convinced the powers wouldn't expire by distance. And when the international calls started rolling in, I launched a premium prayer line. The more desperate the request, the higher the fee. It worked. People wired thousands of dollars for a word, just to hear me tell them what they already wanted to believe. I started hosting Breakthrough Sundays. OJ, I promised them miracles within 7 days if they sold a certain seed. And they did. Some gave away their entire inheritance, not because they were foolish, but because they were desperate. Because I had convinced them it was the only way out. And then came the day that broke me. A wealthy businessman came to me looking for a prophetic word about his company. He was ready to sow a massive seed. I sat across from him, ready to perform. But as I looked into his eyes, I saw something I hadn't seen in a long time. Pure desperation. He believed I had the answer. He believed I heard from God. And for the first time, OJ, I couldn't do it. I sat there silent, drowning in the weight of every lie I had ever told. That night, I had a car accident in one of my luxury rides. When I came home from the hospital, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling and asked myself one question that refused to leave me. What if I had died? What would I say if I stood before God? I didn't like the answer, so I began to change. Quietly, I started giving out funds to struggling members in my church. I told them the money was a loan, but when they came back to repay, I told them to keep it. I offered scholarships. I set up housing projects for those without shelter, and yet I still haven't confessed fully. Not yet. I'm waiting for the right time, but before I tear it all down, I want to give back to the ones I took from. People have started noticing the shift in my sermons. No more shouting, no more staging miracles. Some asked questions. I just smile. They don't know the storm within me. I don't expect forgiveness, OJ. I don't expect anyone to understand. But OJ, I need to say this. I am sorry to every soul who gave their last coin hoping for a miracle. To every parent who emptied their account. To every sick child I pray for with fake faith. It was all a lie. The miracles were staged. The prophecies were rehearsed. The anointing was counterfeit. The power fabricated. OJ, this isn't just a story. This is the blueprint of my mega ministry. And it's time people wake up. Faith has become a product, and too many are buying into the lie. Now that you know, what will you do with this truth? And for more interesting confessions about prophets and their shenanigans, click on this video.